बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम। As we saw last time, the whole section began with the question, what is Atma? And then it said, Atma Satyam Tadanyat Sarvam Mithyeti. I would again and again like to remind, there is the word Mithya or the word Maya, there is no object called Maya or no object called Mithya. At the same time, there is no object called Satyam. This Satya and Mithya are ontological words which reveal the reality of the Vastu. Just as when I see an ornament, I say the reality of the ornament is gold, so also the reality of the entire Jagat is refined as Satyam. And when we say Jagat is Mithya, we don't say that world is non-existing, but then the reality of the world is Mithya. That's a category. As we discussed in length, Anirvachaniya. Now then the question came, what is Atma? And there we had seen at the beginning of itself, the problem is of not knowing itself, but problem is knowing it just the otherwise. There is as though a mixture of self and non-self, and therefore, before defining the self, we need to negate what is not self. When that negation is not clear, when what is superimposed upon Atma is not understood, when this is not assimilated, then you cannot understand the Atma. When this Mahavakya is told, Tattvabodha, and people question, how can I be that reality? The problem is, they think I am something which I am not. There is the Adhyasa Vastu, the Adhyaropita I is not negated, and therefore they question the very equation which is the statement of fact. So we need to know, first of all, what I am not. Therefore, there is a Vakya, Neti Neti Vachanaihi Nigamaha Avochu. So Shastra tells this, what I am not, because there is Anyonya Adhyasa. This we have seen in detail earlier. So here now, Acharya said, Atma Satchidananda Swarupaha, and we discussed what is Sat, what is Chit and Ananda. Now, before saying Satchidananda, there was a long definition, Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatiriktaha Panchakosha Atitaha Avastatraya Sakshi San Yastishtati Sa Atma. So this negation is now being talked about. The Tattvarya of all the discussions to come, which may last for almost 7-8 classes henceforth, when we will discuss about Sthula Sharira or Panchakosha or Avasthas, Tattvarya is not to enlighten us about these Shariras. Tattvarya is to reveal the reality. The Tattvarya of all the discussion is to negate what is not. Not that we are discussing the Swarupa of all this. So in doing so, when we are trying to reveal the reality Vastu, in doing so, we have to understand the empirical reality. Our day-to-day experiences need to be looked into from a proper perspective. One cannot point out the reality without taking into consideration all our experiences. By the way, if I add here, most of the Western philosophers, or I would say all those religions across Himalayas, talk about the reality. Even Pluto, etc., talk about the reality, but they have not taken into account the Sushupti Avastha. They were not taken into account Swapna Avastha or Sukshma Sharir, etc. Therefore, they don't have a complete picture about the reality. They don't negate what is to be negated. So this process or this discussion that is to come is to understand the empirical reality, to deal with, understand the reality of our day-to-day experiences, and understand and lead this discussion to what the Satya Vastu is. Now, there is a model that is being given in this Shastric way. Please understand, we can look at the body in many which ways. You can look at the body as the chemical log table. You can say it consists of so many elements. You can look at the body in terms of minerals and vitamins and etc. You can look at it as the blood and the bone and marrow and etc. But here, Acharya gives one model, and it is explained through the model of Pancha Mahabhuta. At the same time, we should know model is to help us to understand the reality, not that the model itself is a reality. That is the problem some of the acharyas have committed. They do hair-splitting argument and hair-splitting discussion regarding Pavachedavada and Pratibhimbavada. All these are models. They are primarily given that they are not absolute. These models are meant to understand the reality. And as we say, when we talk of this pramana, the drashtanta is also pramana, or even day-to-day life, when we give an example, say something is equivalent to or like something else, whatever is given as an example, it can never be totally similar to for vastu for which we have given example. Otherwise, there is no example. Otherwise, you are talking of synonym. You are talking of something duplicate. Here also, model is not absolute. Model is meant us to take us or understand the reality. Now, look at the definition. What is a model? The Shishya asks, Sthula Shariram Kim. Please look at the book, and then I will read the definition. Sthula Shariram Kim. What is the Sthula Sharira? Sthula means gross. What is the gross body? There is a long answer. Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam Satkarmajanyam Sukha Dukkha Bhoga Ayatanam Shariram Asti Jayate Vardhate Viparinamate Apakshiyate Vinashyati Iti Shadvikaravat Etat Sthula Sharira. It is so tight definition. It is so perfect definition that you don't need anything else to understand this. There are primarily 4 characteristics of this Sthula Sharira, means you can say gross body, or you can say the body that is perceptible through our eyes and body that is experienced through our sense organs. When I say body, I mean my body and everybody's body. What is it? Panchikrita, first character it is Pancha Mahabhutaihi Kritam. It is made up of, it constituents are Pancha Mahabhutas. And which the Mahabhutas? These are called Mahabhutas. Basically, it is Bhutas only. But Mahabhuta is mentioned because they are the basic elements out of which the entire gross world is made. We will see the discussion later. And there is a word, Panchikrita. Second word is Satkarmajanyam. It is born out of Satkarma. Means it's a product of punya karma. Third is sukha, dukkha, bhoga, ayatanam. Ayatanam means an abode. Ayatanam means a house. Ayatanam means a residence. It is an abode for bhoga, to experience what? Sukha and dukkha. The fourth characteristic is Shadvikaravat. It has sixfold modification. The nature of the gross body is it undergoes sixfold modification. First, asti, that it comes into existence. It is jayate, which is born. Existence is not seen perceptibly. The existence is inferred, or you can say nowadays through modern medicine, modern technology, existence is seen through machines but not gross eyes. Asti, then jayate, then jayate means is born, vardate means it grows, then vardate viparinamate, growing, and then viparinama is not simple modification. Viparinama is in the sense of maturation, sense of adulthood. Viparinamate, then apakshiyate, it keeps on decaying, and the last word is vinashyati, then the body dies. It comes to an end. So four characteristics. First, Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam. Second, born out of Satkarma, Punya Karma. Third, it is an abode for the Jivatma. And the fourth, it undergoes sixfold modification. By the way, when we talk of Mahabhutas or the basic elements, five elements, Akasha, in the space, Vayu, air, Agni, the fire, Jalam, water, and last is Prithvi. Akasha, Vayu, Jala, Agni, or Agni, Jala, Prithvi. So this Pancha Mahabhutas, in physics, space is not considered as element. And by the way, I would add here, in all Western religion, they take the space as absolute. They don't consider as creation. Therefore, they say God sitting in heaven created the world. That means there was a place called heaven, and there was a space already available, and then he started creation. Our Shastra is very clear. The Taittiriya Upanishad Pakriya, etasmad atmana akasha sambhutaha akashad vayuhu vayor agnihi agne rapaha adhyah prithvi. So first five basic elements are created, and our Shastra also talks this very clearly. There are three types of pralayas talked about, but when Mahapralaya takes place, the space is also rolled back into Maya. It is dissolved as though into the unmanifest existence which comes from Maya. We will see the later part of the text, or you can say Ishvara ultimately. So these five Mahabhutas. Now, this Pancha Mahabhuta is given an adjective, Panchikrita Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam. As of now, understand this word Panchikrita as grossified. That again discussion will come in the latter part of the same text. What is Panchikaranam? How these five basic elements which were born, which is actually not born, which got manifest in a subtle form, how did they become gross? There is a whole process of Panchikaranam. It will be discussed in the very text. But as of now, you please accept that these are grossified five elements. Or you can say, when I say grossified, means perceptible, seen, experienced through these five sense organs. Those five elements are the upadana karanam for all gross bodies, irrespective of yoni, irrespective of the species. And you can see that even when you analyze our own body, it occupies a space. It is there at point P1, and it has a space outside as well as space inside, like stomach space. That is where we are able to eat, like the whole digestive system space. That is where the processed fruit is ejected out. There is a mukhavakasha. There is a space in the mouth. That is why Shabda Utpatti takes place. There is a Karanavakasha. There is a space in the ear. Therefore, the words travel, and there is a space here also in the mind. So knowledge takes place. You know, some people's mind is so cramped with prejudices and motions and ideas. However logical you talk, nothing goes in. So you need some space inside to understand something. Of course, some guys are so great, they have so much of space that anything goes in, disappears. But you should have a relative space, psychological space, I say. Anyway, coming back to this, occupies the space point P1. There is a Vayu, because you breathe in and breathe out, the element of Vayu is there. So there is a Vayu, there is a Agni, Vayu, Ragni. The fire is responsible for form. The fire is the first element which is a form. Akash and Vayu doesn't have form. Shabda gunakam akasha, sparsha gunakam Vayu, and Agni is a form. Therefore, if this body has its own temperature, irrespective of the temperature outside, only because of the temperature, the shape is maintained. When someone dies, you should see the person after a couple of hours, the whole body as though becomes deformed. So Agni is there. There is as medical science would say, 98.4 degree temperature is there, and some have some extra temperature again here in the mind, and some have extra Ushnata Agni in the tongue also, because Vacho Devata Vanni. So the tongue, the Gujarati में कहते हैं उब्बो न उब्बो हड़की गयो, ऐसे मैंने बोल दिया कि वो खड़ा खड़ा जल गया. So that is a separate Agni. Here we are talking of the Agni which is responsible for this form. Jalam is also there, and Annam that we eat, Prithvi Amsha is also there. So all bodies are Panchikritani. Now, the Pancha Mahabhutas are Samanya Upadana Karan. For Manushya Shariraha, there is one Vishesha Upadana Karan. That way, all bodies, Samanya, general, the material cause. When I say Upadana Karanam means the material cause. Just as for the chair on which I am sitting, the material is wood. For the table, material is wood. For another desk, material is wood. The general material cause is Panchabhutas, Panchamahabhutas. But then, for other yonis, other species, like animals and some yonis, we call it an adolok, atala, vitala, tilatala, suratala, patala, etc. Those yonis and those bodies, urdhvalaka, bhuhu, bhuva, swa, mahajana, etc. Then Vishesha Upadana Karanam, specific Upadana is their karma. If Papa is predominant, then they get those kinds of the Sharira where they have to undergo lots and lots of Dukkham, predominantly Dukkham. And when the Punya is predominant, then one has to undergo lots of Sukham. So Deva, Kinnara, Gandharva, etc., Yaksha, all these yonis, Vishesha Upadana is Vishesha Punya. Now, Manushya Shariram, look at this word, it is said, Sukha, Dukha, Bhoga, Ayata. It is an abode, like you check in the hotel and you check out. Similarly, Jivatma checks in this body. He comes in the body, and when the prarabdha comes to end, the karma phala is exhaust, Jivatma checks out of this body. So it is called Ayatana. Look at this, the beauty of our culture, the richness of Indian culture. There are so many languages. I have checked this. The wisdom of the Veda, Advaita, permeates to every aspect of our life, every tradition, every forms, every custom that we follow, it permeates in and through, even in the language itself. How in all our languages, when someone dies, in English there is a word, he is dead, or when you die. In Hindi they say mar gaya. Gujarati we say mari gayo. So marna means to die is one thing. Gaya means somebody has gone. There was somebody residing inside who left it. Manashasthani indriyani, 15th chapter discussion comes. Prakriti sthani karshati. Utkramantam sthitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam. Utkramantam api. So when the Jivatma departs, how he departs, we will see later part when we discuss about Sukshma Sharira. He goes with the subtle body and he enters into this body. And this is a unique body. Why unique? There is a mention. Sukha, Dukkha, Bhoga, Ayat. Once the Jiva is born as a human being, there is going to be some Sukha and going to be some Dukkha as well. Unwanted, however it may be, one has to have some experiences, some situations wherein he or she will become dukhi, and he, whether, however unhappy the guy may be, he or she will have some situations, some experiences, some relationships which will give him or her some happiness. So this body, out of these 84 lakhs of yonis, this body is called Mishra Yoni. Pujya Swamiji used to say, all of us, every human being is Mishraji. You know, in North India, there is a surname, Mishraji. So everybody is Mishraji. Mishraji with reference to Sukha, Dukkha, Bhoga, Ayatana. It's an hutment. It's an abode for experiencing pleasure and pain. It's an abode for experiencing happiness as well as unhappiness. It's an abode to counter, to connect to this particular world of Bhuloka. For Swargaloka or other lokas, Patal, etc., you need a different kind of body. All the bodies on Bhulokas are Panchikrita Pancha Mahabhuta Krutani, as well as these bodies are, particularly human body, is meant for Sukha and Dukkha. And that is why, this is a so common statement. I often wonder, people say, especially senior citizens or middle-aged 40, 50 plus guys will say, when they see the children playing or when they see young boys and girls being carefully living, and they feel, what a lucky state, avastha. It is nice to be child. We can be carefree and we can have no burden, no tension, no worries, no pressure. It is always good to be a child. it is good to say because there is apohanam. All those are forgotten. I remember my childhood. Childhood is fraught with helplessness. You are helpless. You can't do anything out of yourself. In the Sanskrit it is said paravasham, and sarvam paravasham dukkham. So childhood had happiness as well as unhappiness. Youth also had happiness as well as unhappiness. Middle age, old age, whether you live in India or you live in Argentina or you live in America or Canada or Japan or Russia, there are advantages and disadvantages both. So there are sukhas and dukkhas both. So life is fraught with this. One more thing, just by the way, though it is not relevant, I would like to mention here. Look at this human thinking. Look at this human psyche. Whenever this fellow goes to a temple or whatever religion he or she may believes into, goes to a place of worship, invariably this person gives a list to Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, remove these dukkhas. Let me be absolutely free from dukkhas. That is a standard prayer. And then adds to that, get me those extra sukhas. I have a sukham, I have a car, I have a middle segment car, 35, 40 lakhs. I wish I had an Audi. I wish I had a Mercedes or Lexus. So extra sukha prapti and purna roop se dukha nivritti prarthana, they make it. And they think Bhagavan will solve the problem. Eh? In India, we will find some devotees also. They think that Swamiji's, we have one sampradaya, Dabba. Swamiji's Dabba or that Jagannath Puri Japati. They give or Srinathji Japati. When they give this Japat, you are free from all dukkhas. It is a pipe dream. As long as one is alive, one will certainly have dukkha. We are small bhaktas. Think of the great bhaktas like Mirabai and Arjuna. What a bhakta he might have been. What a beloved to Krishna he might have been. He gave away his sister to Arjuna. Not only gave away, that running away and getting married. The first kidnapping in the history of humanity was Arjuna. And that was supported by Krishna. So he loved him so much. Still, Arjuna had enough dukkha in his life. And last, but one more thing, though we talk about avatara prayojanam, paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya chandrashkutam, these two dharma samsthapanarthaya, but then there is Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrsimha, etc. avatara. There are two avataras where Bhagavan has taken the form of a human being. So there is a Vakya, Martyanam Shiksharthaya Martya Avatar. To educate human being, Bhagavan comes as a human being. And when he assumed the human form, in spite of being omniscient and omnipotent, in spite of having all power, where he says, Prakritim Swam Avashtabhya Sambhavami Atma Maya. He had all Maya with him, still he underwent dukkhas. He himself suffered all kinds of dukkha, just to tell us that Manushya Avatara is Mishra Janma. Sukha, Dukkha, Bhoga, Ayata. Now, then the previous Shabda, I deliberately missed in the order it is. Look at the definition. Panchikruta Panchamahabhutaihi Kritam Satkarmajanyam, and then says Sukha Dukkha Bhoga Ayata. I deliberately missed the second word because I wanted to explain this third Lakshana first. What is the Lakshana? I said Punya and Papa Mishranam. Now the question should be, even when it is mixture of Punya and Papa, when it is a product of some Sukha Dukkha, how do you say Satkarma Janyam? How can you say it is born out of Punya Karma? Then there is another reason. It is in this body only there is a total, complete manifestation of Ahankara. The individuality, though Ahankara is Adhishthanam or abode is Sukshma Sharira, we will see later next definition, but then it is in human form, there is Ahankara. Please understand, Ahankara does not mean arrogance. Ahankara doesn't mean assertiveness. Ahankara, though they translate ego, it's a just loose translation. There is the right definition is, what is Ahankara? Kartrutva, Bhoktritva, Ahankara. The sense of doership, sense of enjoyership. To look upon myself as a doer, Karta, to consider myself as an enjoyer, that sense is complete in human body. That is why it is called Satkarmajanya. That Katrutvam or that Ahankara is a double-edged weapon. It is a it's a double-edged sword. Why it is so? In case of other species, it is quite vivid. If you look at this animal kingdom, the birds or the animals, or the fishes, aquatic animals, or all kinds of them, they don't seem to have a sense of doership. There is some doership, but there is some self-awareness, but it is very rudimentary. A dog, we call the pedigree as German Shepherd or Alsatian or Labrador or whatever. But dog itself doesn't say, I am this. There is no sense of that kind of awareness. The cow which we have in ashram, it doesn't have that sense that I give 6 liters or 8 liters of milk per day. My milk is the best quality milk. Now the modern science has proved that Swamiji's Gir cows, the particular breed, is the best breed and I give. There is no doership. In Manushya Sharira, there is Kartrutvam. So, therefore, it is called Karma Yoni, a body where you can acquire new punyas and papa. That is a double-edged weapon. You can do good deeds, if I use this word, not only good deeds, but doing Nitya Nimitti karma itself earns the punya. And you can do bad deeds, that means forbidden karma, nishiddha karmas, that freedom to do. As in Vyakaran say, it is said, Swatantra Karta. I am Swatantra. Though my freedom to do, my Kartrutvam has some inhibitions, has some limitations based on my unconscious and situation, etc. But I am fairly independent to do or not to do or to do otherwise what I want to do. That is why for this yoni is called karma yoni. All other bodies, urdhva yoni or adho yoni, that whether you go to heaven or hell or whatever, they are all only bhoga yoni. Thank God. If you go to heaven, heaven also very clear mention in not only heaven, for all lokas. In Upanishad there is a vakya, tad yatha iha karma chito lokah kshiyate tadvat amutra. Hereafter also it comes to end. So heaven, you go to heaven only on visitor visa. Nobody has H1 visa, nobody has green card, and nobody has citizenship. It is thank God, otherwise Gujaratis will be there and Patels will be extra over there opening the bottles and hotels. So even Indra, Chandra, Devtas are also on visitor visa. Only difference is they have little work permit, and that too their visitor visa is longest. And individual visitor visa is depending upon their punya, and once the punya is over, Shine Punye Martya Lokam Vishanti. That is very clear. But this Manushya Yoni, neither Adho Yoni or Urdhva Yoni. They are in Shastric jargon, they are called Bhoga Yoni. You just exhaust papas if it is Adho Yoni. Urdhva Yonis, you just exhaust punya. Means you go with a credit card to heaven, and as long as your credit is there, you have their visa over there, and when the credit limit is over, send back. And Adhoyoni means it is Malaya and our Modi company. Whatever advances already you have to taken, you keep paying the installments of those advances that you have taken in terms of papa. Anyway, therefore, since it's a karma yoni, it is called Sat Karma Janma. Because you can earn karma phala. One reason. More important than this, the reason is, it is this yoni where there is a complete expression of antakaranam. The buddhi is there. That is why ahankara is there. There is a complete expression of buddhi. That means there is a total possibility of gaining knowledge. Jnana Sambhavana. And not only there is a possibility of gaining knowledge, there is inbuilt jignasa given by the Lord. The desire to know. Of course, jignasa with reference to the objects of the world. And there is a possibility. When you live a life of dharma, there is a possibility that there can be jignasa for moksha. So, mokshecha sambhavati. Iya asmin sharire eva. Dharmecha sambhavati, dharmaicha and mokshecha. Therefore, it is called sat karma janyam. You require a special karma. In Vivek Chudamani, Bhagavan Bhashyakara says, Mahata punya panyena krinidoyam deha. You have as though bought this body. You have not bought, you can say bartered. You have bartered Mahata punya panya. Punya means buying, in fact, but you have bartered a lot of punya given to Bhagavan, and therefore you got this particular human body. So, therefore it is called Sat Karma Janyam. Okay? Now, another attribute or another lakshana, Shad Vikar Vat. It consists of six-fold modification. Just for your information, again, I want to tell you that it is a way of looking at it. It's a model, not an absolute statement. Now, Shad Vikaras talked about in Tattvabodha. The order is Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyate. In some of the traditional texts, the order, the first two Vikaras are reversed. They say Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, etc. You don't bother for that. Tatparya is not the Vikaras, much less the order. Tatparya is to explain us the Swarupa of the Sharira and thereby to negate that I am not Sharira. That's a Tatparya, negation, and thereby to lead to Vastu. So Asti, it comes into existence in the womb. The embryo is formed. It is become existence of the given body. In whatever species is there, in a female body, in her womb, that body, though as at that moment unmanifest, all the limbs, all the shape, everything is unmanifest. It is, you can say, just a lump of flesh, but it comes into existence as that form. That is called Asti. Then at a given time, it is born, comes into existence. Then Vardhate, if it is fed properly and if it is protected properly, it grows by itself as the laws of nature. Here again, I would like to draw your attention to one fact. It is not simply grows in proportion. Everything grows in proportion. The finger, the fingernails, the hand, the palm, even the nose, earlobes, face, forehead, hair, everything goes in proportion. And that I discovered when I was a brahmachari, this is how you take things for granted. I never thought of generally we never think of our body. During in our course, there was one brahmacharini, a lady, and she was almost 5 feet 9 inches tall. But then that the proportion of the trunk part and the legs part was little disproportionate. There is an order how the legs has to be some degree longer than the trunk back, and she had a back little longer. She had lifelong backache. Even though she was young then, she was suffering so much. So it grows in proportion. And when it doesn't grow in proportion, take it, there is some papam. Okay? Some papam, dukkham is there. So Either the look is ugly, somebody has a flat nose and long nose and all kinds of the things, so long ears or small ears, that is a papa. But in general, it will grow in proportion. Vardate and viparinamate. Viparinamate means maturation. It gains capacity to reproduce its own species. That is viparinama. Maturation takes place, and that maturation stays for some time, and slowly it starts decaying. Slowly it starts disintegrating. And that process is so slow and so long. By the time you are 30, 30s onwards, disintegration starts. And 40, as they say in medical science, all those diseases, those are to come in your lifelong, they come in the 40 plus. Diabetes and blood pressures and all these things starts after 40. And it continues till the fellow lives. But the decay starts generally by 30. That Shankaracharya ji in Shiva Aparadha Kshamapana Stotra talks about this. It is, and the decay itself is dukkha. That is called Vardhatyam, old age, you know. Old age may have, we had some dukkha, physical dukkha of old age, but modern society has added few more dukkhas of becoming old, you know. The look should not be old, you know. That is why cosmetic industry is there. That is how those lotions are there, which can take care of your wrinkles for 3 hours and 4 hours, which can give your skin a glow and you look young. That is additional dukkha. This dukkham is manava sarjitam dukkham. Bhagavan has created dukkham in terms of age and weakness and all that. But this value to be young, value to look smart and handsome and beautiful has added one more dukkha also. So apakshaya is a synonym for dukkha. And vinashyati, it will die. It is often fascinating. I still remember when I was groping around for some spiritual pursuit, you get very much attracted by the yogis, you know, and those all stories. I don't know how far they are true. There were a few couple of books very popular when I was young. When such and such a yogi lived for 400 years, and such a yogi, his age is 250 years. Whether it is 400 or 4,000 years, it will come to an end 4,001 year, full stop. Body by nature cannot be permanent. Body by nature is never Sat Swarupa. People think that I want to live long, as we discussed last time. Nobody wants to die, but I want to live how much? Ananta Kala. And they work upon the body to live for Ananta Kala. But body by nature, it can never survive for limitless time. Our tradition, our Shastra talks about certain Chiranjeevis, those who have a long life. But that Chiranjeevi is also up to some Kalpa. When the Kalpa comes to end, they also come to end. So, Vinashyati, Shadvikaravat, that it has sixfold modifications, that is Sthula Shariram. This is Sthula Shariram. From the perspective of Sharira. Now, this is again the beauty of our language. This is again beauty of the Vedantic wisdom permeating in our culture. In Sanskrit, almost 95 to 98% of the words, as I have talked to you earlier, are derived from the verbs. And the verbs are meaningful. Some suffixes and prefixes are added as per the law, and the noun is formed. There is a verb in Sanskrit called shru, the Rishika Ru, and shru, Shankara Shah, that Shakara. The shru means that which decays. Shru means to decay. Shru means to disintegrate. Shru means to perish. Shru means to come to an end. From shru, the sharira comes. So the very grammatical meaning of the sharira means shiryamanatvat sharira. That which keeps decaying, that which will come to an end, that is called sharira. The very word sharira, the nama for the nami, this particular body, or abhidhanam for the abhideya body, the very noun reveals the nature of the object for which it is meant for. The word sharira is to define or to indicate this particular gross body, but the word sharira itself reveals what is the nature of the body, shiryamanatvat shariram, which keeps on disintegrating, which keeps on decaying, that is sthula sharira. Here we should know this sthula sharira is looked upon from the perspective of Pancha Mahabhuta. The same sharira can be referred as Annamaya Kosha when Pancha Koshas are talked about, and the same sharira gets predominant when you talk of Avastha Traya. The Jivatma, when identifies with Karana, Sukshma and Sthula Sharira, the Jivatma has a waking state. The whole waking state is possible when the ego identifies with this particular gross body. A different way of looking at it, models. We will see those models after this Sharira Traya, after Sharira 3 bodies. We'll talk about Panchakosha, etc. Now it is, the definition was, if you recollect, the question was Atma Kaha, and the answer was Sthula Sukshma Karana Sharirat Vyatirikta. Vyatirikta means what? I had talked about that. Vyatirikta means not different. Okay? See, look at this. Body is not separate from Atma. Atma is distinct from the body. Body cannot be away from the self when it is Sat Swarupa. But at the same time, that is called eminence nature and transcendental nature of the self. It is all pervasive. Sabhumim sahasrashirsha purusaha sahasraksha sahastrapat sabhumim vishwataha sarvataha avritya atyatushtat dasangula. So body is not away, not separate from Atma, but Atma is distinct from the body. That is why Sakshi. When I say not separate from Atma, means the satta of this body, existence, the consciousness of the body is borrowed from Satchidatma. Like even an actor, the beggar on the stage, the existence of the beggar and the movement of the beggar is borrowed from the actor who plays the role of a beggar. So that beggar is not separate from the actor. So its existence and its consciousness, its sentience belongs to the actor. So anything in this world, this is the blunder people commit. They say Atma, this is not Atma. No, nothing is separate from it. That is why there is a Vakya, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarva. At the same time, though it is not separate, but I am separate from it. Body is not separate from me, but I am separate. Self is Vyatirikta. And I can go further. None of the body is separate from me. Forget about my body. I being Ananta Swarupa, Satchidananda, we have discussed in a penalty 2 classes ahead. I being Ananta, all pervasive, none of the gross body are separate from me because I am Sat Swarupa me, but I am untouched. I am totally independent. I am transcendental of this body, and that is where it comes Vivarta Karanam. But somehow the self-identity is confined to body only. To negate that I am not the body only, we say sthula sharirat vyatirikta. Atma is called Sakshi. The status of being Sakshi also is incidental. It is not Sakshi. It is called Sakshi to negate Aham Vritti in the body. Then the Sakshi is told, the Sakshi of this body is Jagat Karanam Brahma, Jagat Adhishthanam. It is all pervasive. So, Etad Sthula Shari. As we said earlier, we need to know, understand, and negate what I am not. So, and this negation needs to be assimilated to own up that Sakshi, that is called Bhagatyaga Lakshana or Lakshartha. That part we will see little later. Now I'll close the class little early because next topic also requires a long explanation. It talks about Sukshma Sharira, called subtle body. I can just introduce in nutshell. It is because of that subtle body, this gross body, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhutas, 5 elements, which are inert, become sentient. The sentiency of the gross body is borrowed from the subtle body sentiency, and the subtle body itself borrows the sentiency from the consciousness. How? We will look into that later in the next class. Namaste. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.